Hello. Sorry, working on my hair this morning. It's been out in the wind. It's kind of doing some crazy stuff. So excuse my hair. This is Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So today I thought I would grab one of the emails that I've been sent where people have said, hey, would you please cover this in a video thought for the day? Or what do you think about that in a video thought for the day? So today, that's what I'm going to do. I got an email from one of our watchers that said, I wonder what you think about Psalm 37, verse 23. So I want to put it together with verse 24. Let's look at both of them and see what you think about them as well as what I do. Psalm 37, verses 23 and 24 say, the steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. I really like this verse. See, very few steps in our life are dictated by God in some GPS fashion. Now, it took me a while to figure this out. Now, of course, everybody wants to be in the will of God. I mean, anybody who's sensible does. I'd like to be smack dab in the center of his will. I'd like to live where he wants me to live. I'd like to eat what he wants me to eat. I'd like to wear the clothes he wants me to wear. I want to be right in the middle of God's will. All he's got to do is tell me. The problem is, he doesn't do it by GPS. By that I mean it's not go 300 feet and turn right. Now, I'm not saying that God couldn't write on a wall, because he did in Daniel. I'm not saying he couldn't verbally speak. He did with Moses. But those are once in a 1,000-year type events, even biblically. That's just not the way God directs our path. And so could God do that? Yeah, but God does another approach with us. He teaches us to walk with him in godly ways and to make godly decisions. So that this is something that's coming from us, not someone else, not him. This isn't simply we're the robot following what he tells us to do. So how does God explain his will to us? Well, one thing he does is he gives us scripture. And scripture gives us great clarity on 95% of what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to love my neighbor as myself. I'm not supposed to do things to other people that I wouldn't want them to do to me. I'm not supposed to lie. I'm not supposed to, there's a litany of things I'm not supposed to do and a litany of things I am supposed to do. I'm supposed to love other people with a love that is patient and tender and kind and doesn't seek its own, and all of those things that Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 13. So we get that from Scripture, and Scripture tells us about that. But Scripture goes further than that. Scripture also explains to us that there are times where God hedges us in, where he opens doors and he closes other doors. And in that way, we get a direction from him. Then there's this other just clear concept in Scripture that there are times where there are options in front of us that are all legitimate options. And that's where this psalm comes into play. Because God actually wants us to be able to make choices. And there are times where he says, I'm going to bless you either way. I'm going to protect you either way. And so that's what we've got in these Psalms. These are circumstances and choices where our faith is that God's going to take good care of us as we make these choices, that God is at work. Paul talks about Romans 12:2, the importance of renewing our minds, because this is God's work in our life, trying to make us into the thinkers we should be. So I go back to this Psalm. It says, the steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. And though he fall, he won't be cast headlong because the Lord's going to hold his hand. This is God's provision for us. Our job is to try to walk in obedience to him. And I like this psalm. And I like the confidence it gives me, but I also like the way it empowers me to try to do what's right before God, knowing If I fall down and make a mistake, he's there to hold my hand. Not a bad thought for the day. Don't hesitate to email me or post questions or ideas of other thoughts for today, but that's your video thought for today. Now I gotta fix my hair.